And also, if you perceive, if your perspective can be different from others in your civilization, like we have here, where some believe in hell and the devil is the one that punish people, and others believe in energy and that is what creates thought forms like the devil. So all these different points of view.
We do not have as many divergent points of view as you do, though we do have some, but they are not as extreme as what you are experiencing on your planet, because we are not as dense in vibration, and we can see the structure of existence and understand it a little bit more clearly, naturally. The idea, however, as you put it, is that from our perspective, what you're calling conflict is resistance to the natural self. Pain is resistance to the natural self. Going with the flow of your truth will eliminate the idea of the same kind of discrepancies in your system that allow you to experience the concept of pain in the way that you do, both physically and mentally and spiritually. So allowing yourself to let go of fear-based belief systems, negative definitions of reality, will ease the pain, because there will be no longer any resistance along your neurological network to the energy flow of your true self. So removing those belief system blockages, so to speak, will also allow you to let go of pain and conflict. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it's just that you do have contrast, right? So how
we understand that things are different from one another. If you want to call that contrast, that's fine. We understand the contrast of positive and negative because every level of existence has it, but that doesn't mean you have to experience it in the same way that you often do on Earth. So we recognize the contrast in things, but we also recognize those contrasts as emanating from a single central source. For in the middle, they're not contrasting. They're just different representations of the same one thing from different points of view. So we look at it more holographically than you do, but we understand that in your experience, it seems like a more drastic contrast than it seems to us. The idea of positive is simply energy that connects and expands, and the idea of negative is simply energy that causes experiences of dissociation and diminishment. But it's just energy to us being used in different ways. And so on that level, we don't see as much contrast as you, and we have the freedom to choose what we prefer. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
All right.
So my next question is, so I chose to come here
Yes.
and not have the abilities to see other entities in dimension. And I even forgot about who I truly was as a spirit. And
Yes.
after I went on a retreat, I was able to access and see those dimensions for myself. And it was then when I was able to realize that I came here to learn and to possibly create.
All right. Congratulations.
But I then instantly got really scared of my own potential or even power.
Congratulations again. Congratulations. Because again, that's the point. You raise your vibration to a certain point, remembering to a certain point who you are, and then the challenges come up because now you can handle it. Now you can process even more. Now you can challenge yourself even greater. So that's part of the process, is eliminating the things that are no longer relevant for you in recognizing who and what you truly are. But there are different levels to it. The whole process is the point of transformation in your life. So congratulations on facing greater challenges. You can do it. You can do it. You can transform them. That's why they come up, because you're ready to transform greater challenges.
So I should just let myself go into that sense of losing control and just...
It's only an experience of losing control. You're controlling the experience of losing control. That's the paradox. So start looking for the paradoxes and use it to your advantage. You can't actually be out of control. You can only create an experience of being out of control by controlling it with your control. That's the realization you can learn to have. It's similar to the idea of people who think they lack confidence. When someone says, I lack confidence, they're very confident about that. That's the paradox. So you're at a level where you can start to see the paradoxes, because you can start to understand there's no such thing as being out of control actually. There's no such thing as not being confident actually. You can create experiences of lack of confidence, lack of trust, so on and so forth, but you can't actually lack trust. You can't actually lack confidence. You can't actually lack control. It's not possible, because you're in control of the reality you're experiencing. You're trusting that something is true always. You're always confident about something. It's just up to you to decide what you wish to trust in, what you wish to be confident about, and how you wish to use your control.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does. That's why I said it. So you're at the level where you can begin to understand the paradox in these things and instantly reconnect to your control, your confidence, and your trust. And make a decision about what it is you would like to use those things for, as opposed to letting your fear-based beliefs tell you what to use them for. You get to decide. You're in charge. Always.
And that gives a sense of power.
Yes. You will create the challenges you wish to face to teach you things, but you're in charge of that. Always. You're never, never a victim.
That's nice. So now for the last question.
Yeah.
I started to live according to your formula since summer last year, and I am having the highest pleasure right now because I'm able to just wake up and ask myself, what do I feel excited about doing now? And I do it. And here comes the but. But at the end of the month is when it's time to pay my bills and the doubts.
All right. So you are still making a difference between the idea of abundance and what it is you think you need. Because abundance, as we say, comes in many forms. And you have to make sure that you understand that part of the definition of your excitement is the inclusion of abundance in whatever form will truly be necessary, and remembering what all those forms are, so that you can engineer, in a sense, your reality in such a way that you may not get one form of abundance, but you have access to many other forms that you can use, but you may not be using them as fully as you could. So it's showing you that you may have an underlying belief system that creates worry and self-doubt within you about whether or not you're actually capable of attracting the forms of abundance you need to continue to act on your excitement. We understand that many humans do that because of how you've been trained, and that's fine. But that's what you have to deal with, is the underlying belief systems that you may still be carrying with you when you say, well, I'm following my excitement, and yet you always feel the need to add a but. And that's your first sign that you're carrying negative belief systems, because if you really were following your excitement in the fullest sense of the definition, there would be no but to discover within you. You would find that abundance is working for you if you are using all the forms and allowing all the forms and acting on all the forms. So you may not be acting on all the forms.
I think it's because I tried to find out some of those beliefs and I could work that out, but I think it's because I was never in this position in my life where I was able to really just wake up and do whatever I felt like excited about.
We understand that you're dealing with the concept of unfamiliarity.
Yeah, exactly. The unknown of, is it going to last, or is it just...
You see, you're dealing with it right there. Is it going to last? You have to find the belief systems that tell you why it wouldn't. Because there's no reason why it shouldn't, until you make the reasons why it won't. So find those belief systems, hear them clearly within you, and ask yourself, why are you holding on to that? Why does it serve you to hold on to the idea that it won't last, that it won't support you? What are you getting out of holding on to that? How is it serving you to hold on to that concept when you know that's not the concept you prefer? So you have many things that you can examine and explore within yourself with honesty about why you believe it serves you to hold on to the idea that this won't last?
I think it comes back with having the sense of control, preparing
All right.
myself.
It's up to you. You don't have to answer now. We're simply telling you that's what you need to explore more fully.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, I think that's all what I needed to hear.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for sharing your perspective.
Again, you are so welcome. And remember, these kinds of communications are also a form of abundance because they provide information for you to ponder. So thank you and aveo.
Have a nice day. Okay.
Always.
Dear Bashar, I have a question regarding your ship, which is, according to what you have told us, above Sedona at this moment, and it's getting closer and closer and has got closer since you started channeling through Darrow. My question is, if time and space are an illusion and everything happens at once in this moment, doesn't that mean that the ship is everywhere, but is closer to us now, regardless of our geographical location or what we believe is our geographical location? Because our energy is higher, we are able to be less dense, and therefore the ship can come closer to us. Thank you very much.
Yes, basically that is true. Your higher frequency vibration will allow us to come closer. Being closer to the point of open contact will allow us to come closer, acting as a barometer of how close you may be to the idea of open contact and how close you may be to being in alignment with your true frequency. But don't be confused between the idea of the causal mechanism, the structure of existence where everything exists now, everything is here and now, all at once, and the idea of the experience of linear time in physical reality. Both are real and both coexist. You are creating a linear experience of time and space in physical reality as a dream. That doesn't mean that it negates the idea that everything exists at once as a description of the structure of existence. So you have to understand the difference between a description of the structure and a description of an experience. So that's the difference. But yes, higher vibration means we can come closer as a reflection of the fact that your density is approaching our density more closely, and that we can then more easily, more probably interact with one another on a frequency that is between the two. A third reality, a simulacrum, if you will, similar to the idea of the simulacrum, the third identity that is created in this channeling, because you are not getting a representation of the channel directly. You are not getting a representation of me directly. You are getting a third version that is a combination of the two that is relevant for the experience of your space-time reality. So if you were to perceive me directly, it would be somewhat different. If you were to perceive the channel directly as himself, that would be somewhat different than what you're experiencing now. This identity, the third identity, the simulation between the two, or simulacrum, is what you are experiencing as a blending of the two, in the same way that open contact will take place in a blending of the reality you're experiencing now, the reality we experience now, and a third different parallel reality that you would be experiencing now in the moment of open contact.